If you have a farm or homestead, but you don't have a social media presence yet, you could be leaving money on the table that could help cover your feed costs, infrastructure, or maybe even more. If it feels overwhelming to start a social media for your homestead or to get some traction on an existing account that you already have, I think that this will be helpful. I've got 6 tips on how to do this without spending tons of time online that you don't have, because we're busy, right? So let's go. This first tip might sound a little bit harsh, might be a little controversial, but I think that this is so crucial to seeing success on social media without going crazy and doing all the things and all the trends. You have to stop thinking about yourself when you post and start thinking about the person viewing it. The fact of the matter is, people don't really care about you. They care about how you make them feel, the things you inspire them to do, what they think about when they're watching your content. It's about them and how they feel and less about you. So posting things that you like, that you think would be fun to post, that's all well and good. But if you're trying to build a social media following efficiently, and maybe even a following that would want to purchase something from you or from your farm, then you need to be thinking about the person on the other side of the screen and not what you want to post at that exact moment. This means that we're thinking about questions that we can answer, problems that we can solve, things that would be inspiring, or things that someone that's not in our situation and is dreaming of it would want to see. This does not need to be complicated. I found that one of the best ways to start a video is just to open up my chicken coop and let my chickens run out and then continue on with the video. People love to see that, but I know that that is something that's endearing, heartwarming, that people like to see, so I often include that in my videos. And those are little things that you need to think about when you're creating those videos. And if you think that there's nothing interesting about you, why would someone want to watch that? Then let's go ahead and get that out of the way. There is. If you're homesteading or farming, you are a part of a very small population of people doing that, and it's inspiring to watch, and there's tons of people that would love to be in your shoes and are dreaming of their someday homestead. So you've got to get out of your head on that one. But the big thing is, think less about what sounds fun to post, think less about trends necessarily, and more about what value you can provide to the people that are watching the videos or looking at your posts. Let's talk a little bit more about a practical tip here. How do you even get started? What does that look like? And I'm just gonna say, you do just need to start. But practically, you really just need to prop your phone up on a tripod or something else and film yourself going about your homestead day. Film first, figure out what you're going to do with it later. It's the easiest way to get content filmed as a busy homesteader, is just to take videos of everything that you can. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be videoing every single day of the week. That's just impossible. But if you have one of those days where there's not a lot going on, you don't have any errands to run, and you can maybe spend a little bit more time in the morning filming, then set up your phone on a tripod and film as you go. So you might let your chickens out, you've got your tripod filming that, then you're going to pick it up and move it when you go to milk the cow. Get as many shots as you can, and you can use them later. I've got one tripod for indoors, one tripod for outdoors. It gets absolutely disgusting. So I've got 2 of them. They're very inexpensive. I just leave the one outside, and when I need to film, I've got it ready to go. You don't have to buy a tripod. You could use a stack of books. You could prop your phone up in a coffee cup. I've done that. But just get your filming done and figure out what you're going to do with it later. You've just got to start. In this day and age, when our phones are so good, you really just need a phone, something to prop it on, like a tripod. And if you're doing long form content or something like that, you might want a microphone like I have here. But honestly, I have not found that necessary when it comes to short form content, so it's up to you. Now, what do you even make content about? Here's the thing. If we're trying to do this as efficiently as possible and we're thinking about the person on the other end of the screen, then one of the best things that you can do is to focus most of your content on solving a problem or answering a question. Now, this doesn't mean that you start your video and you say, I got a question about this, so I'm going to answer it. That's not quite it. But let's say you filmed a video of your morning chicken chores. You could voice that over and talk about something like why you free range or why you don't. Or you could just leave that as ASMR content and really clip out pieces that sound good with good visuals. Those things would be great for maybe a 60-second clip if you were doing short form videos, but you could also clip that into maybe a 6-second clip of you letting the chickens out of the coop. I've done that before, and I've put some text over the screen saying, after 3 years of having chickens, this is still my favorite way to start the morning, and I'm letting the chickens out. It's this adorable little clip, but it's something that is relatable. And see, before, with the example of voicing over and talking about free range versus not free ranging, this 6-second clip of letting the chickens out may not solve a problem or answer a question, but with that text on screen, it's highly relatable to other chicken keepers, and it's likely to be shared. The reason we want to stick with content that's likely to be shared, solves a problem, answers a question, is because this is the most efficient way to get our content on more eyes, get it shared, increase our follower count, and therefore get us closer to in-platform monetization, maybe get eyes from brands, or get some new eyes on our farm products if we're trying to sell something from our farm. So you really want to focus on those things instead of something that maybe you just want to post. So this filming will take an extra 5 or 10 minutes to position the camera where you want it and get the shots that you want. And as you go, this will become easier, but it doesn't take away from your morning chores all that much because you're going to edit it and deal with that later. As you get going as well, you'll think of creative ideas and other things that you want to do, but this can be a great starting point if you are just like, I don't even know what to do, or if you have an existing social media account and you're busy. In really busy seasons of my life, I just set up the camera, I film what I can, and I figure it out later, and I'm always able to come up with high quality content later when I have more time and I'm maybe not as stressed. The next question that goes along with this is how often to post. Something I want to make sure to say here is consistency is key. And I know that that doesn't sound fun. It's not maybe what you're hoping for, but it is true. There is absolutely nothing special about me. I'm a mom of 4, I homeschool, I'm busy just like you, but consistency is key. And consistency with constant tiny improvements in your content over a long period of time is always going to win out over high quality content that's incredibly inconsistent. Now, when I first started out, I started with posting one short form video every day, Monday through Saturday, and I always took Sundays off. Now, I know that that's a lot, but I was really focused on growth. And to be honest, when I was first starting out, I didn't have any content up, so I had tons and tons of ideas of things that I hadn't done before. Now, I'm not saying that you need to post 6 times a week. Think about an amount that would be good for you that you can sustain long term. Now, I do have a couple of recommendations. I think a good rule of thumb when it comes to long form content is 1 video a week. I will say I don't follow that rule, and I'm aiming for 1 video about every 10 days. I do a lot of short form content as well, so this is a lot more manageable for me as a busy mom. But think about what you could do consistently when coming up with a schedule that will work for you. Now, when it comes to short form content, if I were just starting out, I really do think that posting 6 days a week was very helpful. But I also think you could get similar results with just 4 or 5 times a week if you were consistent in that. It's all about finding that sweet spot of what is frequent enough, but that you can stick with. So if 6 days a week would absolutely stress you out and you would give up within 2 weeks, then maybe 4 times a week is better for you. Maybe Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, something like that. And as busy homesteaders, we really want to maximize our efforts here. We want a good return on our investment of time. And because of that, I still think that video is king, whether it's long form or short form. Short form is definitely having its moment now. And while I think that carousels and photos and things like that are coming back, I really think that if you're very busy and you're first starting out or you're trying to gain traction on an existing account, I think that videos are going to be your best friend. So what platform should you even be on? If you're wanting to do long form content, I think that it's pretty obvious that YouTube is the place to be. And if you're wanting to do short form content, you'll often get the advice that you should pick one platform to focus on, learn that really well, and then move on to the next platform. I actually don't think that's super great advice because the things that do well on one platform often do great on another, or maybe even better. So I think that if your goal is going to be short form content, you should be on as many platforms as you can manage or want to be on. So for our homestead, we're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube Shorts, and we post all the same content across all of them. It's not much extra work for me to post it, and who knows how a video will do. Sometimes I think it will do really great on Instagram, but it actually takes off on Facebook. So it's a better plan, in my opinion, to be on as many of those short form platforms as possible, post the exact same content. You have a much better chance when doing that of getting monetized on one of those platforms, having a brand notice you and maybe getting some sponsored content that way, or getting more eyes on your farm and your homestead so that you can raise awareness about the products you have available or things like that. I would say that Instagram is great for community building and driving people to other places to buy your products, such as Etsy or things like that, especially with messaging automations. It's super easy to do and it's very effective. I find that Facebook is great for in-platform monetization, as is YouTube. A lot of people don't seem to be thinking about Facebook, but this is one of our biggest earners. So if you're already posting short form content on YouTube Shorts or TikTok or Instagram and you haven't yet tried out Facebook, I've got to say it is my absolute favorite platform. So decide on short form or long form content and then decide what platforms you're going to be on. But I really think it's best to be on more and go ahead and post that same content across all of them. This is going to get you the best return on that time investment, and as busy homesteaders, we don't have a ton of it, so you might as well get those videos posted in multiple places. Now, the last thing I want to say, and I don't want you to click out because this is super important and I hope it will give you some encouragement when it comes to a stalled social media account, or if you're just starting out and you feel like it's way too saturated. You have got to stop focusing on vanity metrics, so the follower count or subscribers or views on a video. There are tons of content creators and businesses that have loads of followers and make way less money than you would think. And there's lots of small content creators that make way more money than you would think. We started making money from our social media and sending people to our digital chicken tractor plans, I believe before I even had 10,000 followers on Instagram. And in the world of content creators, that is a pretty small account. Of course, when it comes to in-platform monetization and things like that, there are requirements and follower counts that you need to hit. But oftentimes when it comes to brand sponsorships or gifted items or just sending people to your farm store or your Etsy or something like that, you do not have to have a certain number of followers for that. You just need to have a community that is invested in what you have to say and that trusts you enough to buy a product or interact with the sponsored posts that you have. Social media may not be for everyone, but it is pretty simple once you get the hang of it. You can really set yourself apart if you focus on creating consistent, high-quality content. And that just means content that gets a little bit better every single time you post. You don't have to start out being perfect. Just focus on doing more of the things that work and getting a little bit better with your editing or things like that as you go. And this is made really simple by batch filming things, filming your chores, filming you cooking, whatever it is that you're doing in the moment when you're doing it and figuring out how to edit it later. Doing that while focusing on the person on the other side of the screen, not getting caught up in trends or virality or what you want to post, but instead focusing on what the person watching needs to see from you, what they would be encouraged by, maybe a question that they have as a beginning chicken keeper if you've been doing this for 10 years, focusing more on the viewer and less on yourself and what you want to post, staying consistent, leveraging video to build that community. I think these are all things that can help you build a thriving social media presence for your homestead or your farm. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you want to know more about making money on your homestead, but you're not sold on doing social media, I think you'd like this video over here where I talk about 5 ways to make money on your homestead, and 4 of them are not social media. There's some pretty good ideas there. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. But until next time, I hope you're having a great day and I will see you later.